Hi, my name is James Surreal and I am a freelance user experience architect and I specialize in designing user interfaces, interaction design, prototyping, and I use mainly Axure RP prototyping software. So, this project that I want to introduce you to is called DBStack, and the idea is to enable users to collaborate in a way that they can build their database application faster and in a very efficient way as well. Um, the application is still under development stage, so this is a prototype to show you how this application is gonna be used, is gonna be designed, and the features and functionalities and what to expect when this application actually goes live at some point in time. So the first thing we just need to look at, this is the home page. We just talked about the general site, what you can do about what you can use the application for. You can have a share query, you can have your private folders and your public folders, which you can share with your teams. You can have like query version history as well, and you can write your queries to include variables, and you can enable your non-technical um, team members to be able to interact with your query in an efficient way. And you can search the DBStack for queries and for other things that will enable you to build your database application fast. So that's mainly what the site is going to do. And we have a feature page as well. So this feature talks about what the app is going to offer the user when you sign up. So you're going to have a preview triggers and functions and everything that you'll be able to work with your database efficiently. And the proposed buy option will be $19.99, and on the application you'll be able to read about the docs. So we're still preparing the documentation, so that is why the page is blank for now, and because this is a prototype session, we've not really finished it yet. So I'll just sign up now and just sign up. So once we've signed up, we'll enter into the main application. So this is how the main application is going to look like. The main app where the user is actually going to interact with the product. The first thing the user will do is either to connect to the database through here or to connect through here as well. Once they've connected to the database, they will be able to have access to some queries, and they'll be able to run those queries. So if I try to run the query now, it's just going to give me an error here because I've not connected to any database yet, and I'm not running any query yet, so it can't show me anything. So if I connect to the database with my details, so when you want to connect to your database, you need to know this information to your database server. Once you connect to that and those information is correct, then it will show you the list of the databases that you have on your server. So if you have just one, it's going to show, but if you have more than one, it shows as a drop down. And the next thing you need to do is to create your private folder and your public folder. So I'll just go ahead and create a private folder. So this will talk about, this is a private folder, and this private folder will only be accessible by the logged in user only that created the account. So no other user will have access to this folder, but of course they can decide to add some user to their private folder if they feel like. So the public folder will be, it's going to be general as well, so you can have the name as well. So we have here public and private folder, and everyone has access to this folder. And as well, you can decide to add user to this folder if you want to add user to this folder yourself. So now we can switch in between the application, but because we've not added anything to this yet, it's not going to show anything inside this folder. It's just going to show the DBStack repository, which we have the folders and some database sample tables will already be there, so you can grab them and use them for your project if you like. So what you do next is to add your files to your private folder. So I'm just going to add some couple of files to and some folders today. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to add just folders only, and I'm going to add another folder called finance, and I'm going to add another folder called communications, and I'm going to add another folder called sales and marketing. And inside the sales and marketing, I'm going to add some files. So I'll just leave this one here, and I will just add some files there, which we will be able to run some queries. So I'm just going to put some file name here, and I will add another file name. I'm just going to copy the text. And I'm not running query yet. I will add another file here as well, and I will add another file as well here. So for now, I'm just going to add just these three files, and because this is a prototype and I'm testing for now, it's a testing, so I've already added some SQL queries in there. So the idea is when the user comes into the application and they view their folder, so I'm just going to do for this as well. So I'm just going to add them as well, so you can just add as you like. So I'm just going to add the folders there, the interactions. So alright, so now the interaction looks complete. I'll just add the last the last ones. So in the folders, in each of these folders, I have 4 folders, and inside these folders I have 5 SQL query files that has been written. So the idea is the user can come into this application and they can run this query. So when they click on this query, we can see here it shows the query description, and it shows the SQL query, and the user can run this SQL query, and it shows here. So they can decide to view as graph, which we're still working on. The graph is blank, but they can switch back and it can show the raw data as well. They can also view their query version history, so the user will be able to know when the query was last updated, and they can share their query URL as well, and they can close this. So basically it's a simple application, but the interaction, the capability of doing this thing in Axure gives the final, like the representation of how the final product is going to look like. And being able to achieve this on Axure is very important, because you can then present this prototype to your development team, and they can work on this query. So if you run any query, it's just going to run them and it will display the results. If you run any query, it will run the query as well. So it's very flexible, and you can always try and interact with this product in a better way. The next thing as well again is the design has also been changed from the light mode. We also designed the dark mode, which I've already worked on as well, so I can decide to switch to the dark mode and just like open a new tab. And because this is a prototype now, so I'll need to like to connect to start all over from the beginning again. But the idea is to show you the light mode and the dark mode. So I'm just gonna just bypass everything, and I'm just gonna add the files. So there's a lot of interaction that goes on this application right now, which it's not 100% complete yet, but it shows how the user will interact with the application when the application is finished. And this is the light mode, and this is the light mode, and this is the dark mode. So if I go on any file as well, I can run the query and it shows the dark mode. So this is just a simple prototype, but very complex because it gives a high fidelity prototype on how this application is going to look like when it's fully developed. And all this is done using Axure RP. There is no use of Sketch, there is no use of Figma, Invention, XD, all other prototyping tools. Nothing was used. This was completely done using Axure RP. And you know why I stick to use the prototyping tools that I've been using for several years now is because it gives me the opportunity to do this, and I can achieve this very easily because I understand how the tool works, and because it is about the designer, not actually about the tools now that matters. And this is the file in Axure RP as well. So as you can see, many of them are dynamic panels, and there are some interactions, some conditions that makes this application comes to life. So if you have any question, anything that you like to do in Axure RP, and you want to create a prototype of some sort that look interactive like this, you can give me a shout, you can send me a message or give me a call, and I'll be glad to help you. As I said, this prototype is really very interesting, and I've enjoyed working with this prototype because it gives me the ability to shape the design and ensure that when I speak to the developer, either the front-end developer or the back-end developer, they understand the functionality in terms of the look and feel, and also in terms of what and how the product is going to perform. And the user as well can also have a play with it. So this is very good for user testing and interaction, because you can learn how you can use this application, and we can get some feedback and we can improve on this prototype further. So as you can see, it's a good prototype. We have already tried to run it, and if you have any question, just let me know how and I can show you how I did it. Usually I will have created a video on how to create it, but because this is a very complex prototype, it takes time, so it is something that I might just do few tutorials on each of the simple section. But the way it works is very easy, and you can achieve this using Axure RP. So the power of Axure, the light mode and the dark mode. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question, you can leave a comment and I'll be glad to look into the comment, okay, and deal with the feedback. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again next time. Bye for now.